Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
I find this poll to be rather riveting. A recent Public Religion Research Institute, the PRRI, everyone knows about them, at least recently revealed that 1 in 4 religious voters believe that Donald Trump's 2024 presidential election was divinely ordained by God, with a significant variation across faith groups. White evangelical Protestants were most likely to hold this belief, with 60% of them believing that, followed by Hispanic Protestants with 45%, non-evangelical Protestants 80%, and black Protestants 83%. Largely rejected the idea. So those are the numbers that rejected the idea, because 1 in 4 believe that he was ordained by God. The poll's results align with voting trends, as white evangelicals and Hispanic Protestants strongly supported Trump, where black Protestants overwhelmingly backed Kamala Harris.
Number 6.
U.S. Representative Jerry Carl, Republican out of Mobile, has suggested that Donald Trump's 2024 presidential victory should serve as a wake-up call for the mainstream media to align closer with public sentiment rather than personal narratives. Carl emphasized that the press might need to adapt to remain relevant, and predicted changes in how written media operates under Trump's leadership. He criticized platforms like The View for pushing divisive perspectives while maintaining his approach of fostering a professional, respectful relationship with the media, which he's done. I think he's tried to play very nice with them. Kamala Harris's deputy, listen to this, Kamala Harris's deputy campaign manager, Rob Flattery, was quoted the other day saying that he had no reason to engage with the New York Times and the Washington Post, as their readers were already supportive, illustrating the close relationship between Democrats and those outlets.
Number 5.
A 9-year-old boy was injured early Tuesday when at least 200 bullets ripped through a Springville Landing apartment complex in Birmingham, in the latest situation where you are looking at a large amount of firepower being utilized around normal human beings. The boy was struck while inside his home. The kid had nothing to do with this. He was inside his home. His injuries are not life-threatening. Police recovered hundreds of shell casings and detained 5 individuals for questioning, suspecting the violence stemmed from a feud between 2 known groups. Are they called gangs? I mean, what do we call those things? They're firing 200-plus rounds at each other. Luckily, nobody was killed. Birmingham has seen record violence and murders, while the mayor is telling everyone how great his shoes are. So things are going great in the city of Birmingham, as always. Alabama's truest sundown town.
Number 4.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, Democrat from Louisiana, faces backlash from GOP hardliners over his handling of a continuing resolution, a CR, to avoid a government shutdown, with some threatening to withhold support from his January speakership bid. Critics argue that the CR includes last-minute policy-heavy additions like healthcare reforms and ethanol provisions, deviating from promises of a clean funding extension. Despite frustrations from within the party, Johnson remains focused on meeting the December 20 deadline and insists he's not worried about his leadership position. They are, however, worried that Christmas is coming, because they didn't know. They were unaware. They were shocked. Christmas is 7 days away. I better start shopping. I've got to get home to get that done. Speaker Johnson, just do what I did. Go to Target on Christmas Eve. That's the correct answer. You can get all your shopping done then, but you need to stay and do your job. Just pass a clean bill. Come back and handle it in January.
Number 3.
Alabama's 9 presidential electors officially cast their votes for Donald Trump during a ceremony at the state capitol, reflecting a 65% victory in the state during the November election. Nationally, Trump secured 31 states and narrowly won the popular vote over Kamala Harris, with 49.9% to her 48.4%, which people are still like, he didn't win. He didn't get a majority of the popular vote. He didn't win a majority. It's like, man, you guys really got him. I guess he'll just have to be president for the next 4 years. You guys are really showing him. You showed him once for, I guess you're right. Kamala Harris is going to be president. There's still people who think that something's going to happen that's going to make Kamala Harris president, which is kind of funny. Alabama's electors also voted for Vice President J.D. Vance, with Congress set to certify the results on January 6th ahead of Trump's inauguration on January 20. I'm going to bet that Kamala Harris comes down with COVID that day and can't come to work because she's got to certify it. It's going to be hilarious.
Number 2.
The United States Senator Tommy Tuberville has hinted that the Huntsville's Redstone Arsenal could become the permanent headquarters for the FBI under incoming President Donald Trump. I just don't know it. I don't know. I think they're going to have to keep the headquarters there in Washington, D.C. I wish they would move it here. Nothing would make our government better than making these people live amongst normal human beings and outside of D.C., so I hope it happens. The Biden administration selected Maryland for the new FBI site. Ongoing controversies and discussions about the relocation process leave the final decision uncertain. Tuberville highlighted Huntsville's existing FBI presence and infrastructure at Redstone Arsenal, emphasizing the potential to host the entire agency as an ideal long-term solution. I like this plan. More Alabamians in government, more government in Alabama. Make them come down here and live with us. It will change the way they behave.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
House Republicans, led by the guy with one of the coolest names in Congress, U.S. Representative Barry Loudermilk. Turn down the milk. It's too loud. Stop it. That's the louder milk. Stop. Anyway, Barry Loudermilk, a Republican out of Georgia, has called for an FBI investigation into former United States Representative Liz Cheney out of Wyoming for alleged witness tampering during her role in the January 6th House Select Committee, specifically regarding communications with star witness Casey Hutchinson. A GOP report claims Cheney violated federal laws by encouraging Hutchinson to change attorneys and conducting a private interview in her Capitol hideaway. Spooky. While also accusing the January 6th committee of mishandling and deleting evidence. Cheney and other former members have denied the allegations, asserting the committee's investigation was thorough and accusing Republicans of distorting facts to shield Donald Trump. And this will clearly not lead to more calls for preemptive pardons. None. And Joe Biden is probably going to pardon Liz Cheney. I mean, in this situation, I got to tell you this right now. I think it's pretty clear. I think we're looking at something here where they're going to pardon Liz Cheney, especially with what's going on here right now. The preemptive pardons, I absolutely think that's going to happen now. Because I think they're worried about the investigation playing itself out. Now, let's just say that they do preemptively pardon Liz Cheney. There's nothing to stop the investigation from continuing. Maybe you can't charge her with a crime, but the American people should still know exactly what's going on. So give that preemptive pardon, which we were told 4 years ago was an admission of guilt. And now we're told that it's not an admission of guilt. I mean, okay, fine, whatever. You're worried about the investigation into the people who are getting the pardon. I agree with that. That's exactly what's happening. They're worried about it being used politically against them, which is exactly what the fear was years ago. And the media told us, you have nothing to fear. Let the investigation play out. So my message to them is, you have nothing to fear. Let the investigation by the FBI under a Donald Trump DOJ play out. I have faith in the lifetime personnel of the FBI, and we should just let the investigation play out. Stepping in the middle of this would be totally inappropriate for Joe Biden to do, and let's just hope he doesn't do it. Let's let the investigation play out. What are we worried about, right? That was the argument? Okay, good. I'm in the same place. Let's do that. And by the way, I get to be consistent here because this is exactly what I said at the end of the Trump term. I say, just let the investigations play out. If you didn't do anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about. But then they politicized it even more, and that became a different issue. Very weird. Very weird. Every accusation is an admission. Just remember that. With the media and their Democrats making accusations, they're actually making admissions. We'll take a quick time out here. Thank you very much for being here. You can weigh in right here, right now, via the text line. That is the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line. You can jump in right there, 866-494-WVNN. Get some questions in for 10 with him. We'll get to those later in the program. You can make some comments on the 7 things as well. Email us.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. That is the downtownrescuemission.org email inbox. Talk to us there as well. And we will continue right here on WVNN.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.